Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome, wherever in the world you are. And thank you for joining us on the last day of the Cryptocurrency Challenge, where we're going to find out who did better, Marky Dragon or his wife, Lisa, Miss Dragon, in the Cryptocurrency Trading Challenge. All right, so welcome everybody. Thank you for joining for the final day, the Cryptocurrency Challenge. Actually, it ended yesterday, and did a final tally yesterday, and going to talk a little bit about how that went. You know, successes, not successes, you know, all of those things above. And how this worked out, and where I think it goes from here. So I'll start off by saying that, you know, in the beginning, my hopes were to make 1% a day, and to do this challenge to where, you know, I come out on top having made 30%. I see Technocrat in Twitch chat's already saying you made 32%. In the challenge. Awesome job there, buddy. And you know, so there was a couple of things. You know, I guess I'll just start out by showing some of the stats, and then let's talk about that. So here is my stats. You know, we started out on the first day, October 20th, and we went to November 18th. That was actually 30 days, and you know, you know, I ended up, my $100 turned into $91.36. So, you know, not so good. And then my wife, Lisa, you know, she also was participating in the challenge, and she started with $100 as well, and ended up with $113.26. Yay, Lisa! So she did good on that. And we had a couple of different styles of trading. I felt very compelled to make changes based upon, you know, story flow, or let's just say, you know, making videos every day. And I really wanted to have action every day. And when it comes down to it, that was a very bad plan. The plan really should have been that I just do what's right for the money to grow and not worry about entertainment whatsoever. But the problem is that was going to end up with a lot of sitting of my cash. And I was just worried that it would be really boring. That's my excuse. Now, in reality, I have been doing this as well on another account. And right now I'm around even, but I've taken a different approach to it. And that different approach is that I think investing is more for me than day trading. So day trading, you look at these and you say, okay, I'm watching these different coins here and everything, and I'm you know, really paying attention to what they're doing, their patterns. I'm watching for news articles to come out on them and everything. I'm watching for any insider news that I can find, you know, like, you know, do I know that something is going to be announced later today? Do I take a chance on that? And do I invest? And hopefully stuff skyrockets up and I cash out. And that would be all fine and dandy. So the $100 is not really enough to do that effectively with. And this challenge really should have been like $1,000, except that would have aced out most everybody in testing this, because really, we wanted to see whether or not we could do this before putting in a more significant amount of money. And I think $100, while not insignificant to some, was kind of the right amount for testing this. But to put in $1,000 or $10,000 or whatnot could, you know, that would have, if I put in $1,000, I'd be down, you know, $100. Whatnot, instead of being down, I'm like $9 down or whatever. But maybe it would have made some differences too, because I could have done a lot more trades and kept the flow going and everything. So in the end, on this, I did not make nearly as many trades as I wanted to, and really holding and being patient was the key. There's a couple of terms that I learned. There is FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt, and I experienced a lot of that during this challenge. And then there's also FOMO, FOMO, which stands for fear of missing out. And that fear of missing out is what really drove a lot of my trades in this challenge, because I was missing out on the action that I was going to present to you guys in this. So I think it had a negative effect on me. And so in the second half of this, I really decided that, okay, I'm not gonna give in to this. I'm not going to make these changes just because I want excitement on this or whatnot. I'm going to make these changes, whatever changes, I wanted to make these changes to grow my money. And that was the whole point of it. Lisa says, I felt stuck having only 100 bucks. Yeah. So anyway, I did a couple of good trades at first. You see here, I got all the way down to 78 bucks, and then I made, a nice trade, and I made it all the way back up to 90 and everything, but I just couldn't break out of this. You can see here, I was stuck in here for, a few days. And so, a lot of this trading and everything, you do some things to try and capitalize on what's happening in the market. And so, I had a point here where I bought at 6,000, and then I sold at 67.99, and that was a really, really good trade there. And then I bought again, and see what happened was I set my buy after that at 6,100 after I was at 61.79 or 67.99. And what happened was the market just kept going up. And so while I was really pleased with making that $800 increase from 6,000 to 6,800, what happened was the market just kept going up and up and up, and I kept waiting for it to come down, and it didn't come back down. And so finally, I made another purchase at 76.94. I'm like, screw it. I need my money back in the market because it just looks like it's just going to keep going up, and that was a dip that came down. And so I was taking a chance that it wasn't going to fall down further. But what happened was it was sitting in one range here, and then it went up. It jumped a whole nother range, and now it's sitting up in this new range. And so this is the new area I need to play in. And so I missed that profit between 6,800 and 7,700. So did that negate my profits here? That I made this $800 worth of profits? Well, kind of, yeah, it did. It kind of put me back near where I was, and it cost me more. So I ended up with less Bitcoin and everything. So while the value may have stayed around the same, I ended up with less Bitcoin. So let me show you the other trading I've been doing. And while I want to explain a little bit about investing as opposed to day trading. Day trading is you're making multiple trades a day. You want 50% of your trades to be making like at least 20% profit. You'll have another 10% of your or 50% of your trades that you dump out, that you have a stop loss, and if you get to 10% below what you invested or whatnot, you dump out, taking the loss of 10%. And if you take a gain at 50% or at 20% or higher, but let's just say 20%, you take a gain, let's say you put in 100 bucks and you invest that and it makes 120, and you put in 100 bucks and it comes out to being 90 because you had to dump out. So you take that 90 and you take that 120, and both investments of 100, which would have been 200, but now it equals 210. And so that is just the math on that. You're still up you know, you still made 10% on the one trade or 20% on the one trade, lost 10% on the other. You're still up. Now, if you did those both at the same time, that would equal a 5% increase. But if you did them back to back, like let's say, you know, you made your 20% and then you, or vice versa, whatever. But anyway, the theory goes that you can lose half of them if you double the amount of the losses in your wins in the other half. So that worked out, you know. I tried a little bit of that. I'm not very good at it. It takes an enormous amount of time to dedicate to it. So I switched over to doing something that's a little bit more like investing, and that's what I was doing here in Bittrex. And so you can see here, here's all of my holdings. I had about $1,100 worth of stuff put in. And in fact, I'm at around $1,100 here. But you don't look so much at the dollar amount as you do the Bitcoin amount. So I actually was, you know, about 0.14 Bitcoin, and I've been up to as high as 0.67, and I've been down as low as a point, you know, or point, you know, 128 or so, and it was 167 was about the highest. So what I've done here is I've invested in things that I think long-term are good. And then I've also, so I've done a lot of research, and I'm in this group, and there is a link in the description to the group. There's a group on Reddit, and they have a Telegram group. Telegram seems to be the place that everybody goes for cryptocurrency groups. And I don't know why, but it is the place. And maybe it's because they have APIs and they allow a lot of bots in there and stuff. And maybe that's been around since before Discord, because Discord kind of does the same thing. But anyway, so I joined this group, and a lot of the calls in here, when I started following the calls and trying to follow their path, you know, where they were saying to go and everything, I ended up with really having only 50% success. And so while some of them I was able to cash out at higher, what happened was the other 50% went lower, and I was not using stop losses. And because I was not using stop losses, I ended up with some of them going down 50%, 60% at the lowest. And so that really takes away a lot of the value. And so I have a lot of these that are sitting here that are old. And so they're old, and I'm just waiting for a cash out. So here's like XLM, which is also known as Lumen. And let's see here. So I bought originally at 600, and then I put it for sale at 800. And it's just, you know, it's down below 600. It's at 488 right now. So I'm currently upside down in that one. But then, you know, I did this, this was yesterday. I bought at 464 and I sold at 514. And so I bought at 11:45 a.m. and it sold at 9:30 p.m. And so here is, oh, you can't see under my, you know, my picture is always in the way here, it seems. So I bought at 0.00058 and I sold at 0.00064. So 58 to 64, you know, it's a little bit of an increase. It's not very much, but I saw that opportunity and I took it. And, you know, but it's not worth very much in the end. Most of these, so this other one that I have sitting here that I bought at 600, bought 99, almost 100 of them at 600, and I'm hoping to sell at 800. I just decided I'm going to wait. So, you know, we have here that way back in the beginning, you know, it's been up higher. In fact, this is where I bought up in this range up over here. So I looked at this stuff and I decided, okay, you know, what is Lumen's goals? What is their purpose? Why are they here? And, you know, then I decided not to dump out on it, because I could just seek to sell at 600 the next time it hits 600, or I could take a loss on it to get that money working again. And I decided I'm just going to stay in. I don't remember what Lumens, what their goal is or whatnot, because there's so many different coins. But I didn't disagree with it. I thought it had merit, and so I am staying in. So, okay. And there's a bunch of different ones here, and including like Bitcoin Cash made a really big splash on everything, and I made some money on that, and then I went upside down in it, and but I believe that it's going to come back up, and that'll be the last time I deal with Bitcoin Cash. There's a lot of distaste and disdain for Bitcoin Cash in the community because of the people operating the the coin for it, but I think that it still will hit my targets and I'll be able to sell, and I've got a lot in this. So I don't know how much it is. It's like $600 or something like that. It's a lot. It's a lot. So, and I got several others here. Now, one really interesting thing that I've learned in this as well is that when Bitcoin goes up, altcoins go down. When Bitcoin is going down, altcoins go up. And you use Bitcoin primarily as your main thing that you are buying altcoins with. And if you think of it this way and everything, you want your balance, your Bitcoin balance, to go up, because if your Bitcoin balance goes up, then you and you want to sell at for US dollars or whatever your country's currency is, then you just wait until you hit a high point on that and you sell. So you can't be like, oh, I need all this money tomorrow, because that's not going to work. And so it is it's just the way you work it out. So, and I'll give you some examples of that. So Zcash here is a coin that I have been mining, and there is going to be a lot more mining content. I've only just really touched on it just a little bit and talked about mining, but I will be actually showing everybody how to mine. If you have gaming cards in your system, I'm going to show you how to use them. And then I'm also exploring CPU mining. I think it's probably a losing proposition, but I've been doing some of it, and we will actually go over that in depth. I have power meter readers here so that I can read how much power is being consumed from machines. I have some old machines here, which I'm going to we're gonna put them together, get them up and running, and then we will track how well they're doing or not doing, see if there's any use for them. If there's not, we do everything and they're not making any money. They're going in the trash, well, or recycled, whatever. So now with Zcash, I have been taking in deposits here. And let's see, do I have a deposit history in here? I don't. So anyway, I've been putting in some market orders. The deposit history shows up someplace else. And what I've been doing is making some sales at what I think are good rates. And so now that I have this auto depositing, I'm getting an auto deposit of about 0.02 Zcash per day, which really may not sound like very much. And when I look at the mining stuff says that at the current rate, I'm making, I don't know how much per day. Let me see what it says right now. And that's based on my stuff. It says I'm making $3.97 a day. I'm looking on a different computer. I actually don't have that screen on this one here. And about $120 a month, and that's with the amount that I've been mining and everything. Now, I haven't been able to consistently mine all the time. I use these machines for streaming, for video editing, and stuff like that. And so that's, it's all working out. But what I'm doing is that the current rate of it is, let me see if I can see here. So the current rate is $300 per coin, and that's actually not too bad. That's a pretty good rate. I've been mining as low as like 210 or whatnot. And so I have been pricing this stuff now at 0.0502 and such, and right now it's at 387, so I'm going to the 500 mark. And every couple of days I'm just placing another sale item there, and it's going up. Now, will it hit these 500 marks? Yes, actually, I believe it will. It's hit it in the past, and it'll hit it again in the future. And so by taking it at 387 right here, being worth 300 bucks, if we go up to the 500 range, that's going to make it worth what, 400 bucks or whatnot per coin. And I'm actually greatly increasing how much I'm making on my mining by being patient and waiting. It's the same thing as buying low and selling higher. And Zcash, I've been happy with it. It has a good flow. It has a very good purpose. Its purpose is privacy stuff, and it's part of some other stuff that's going on. So it's actually a pretty good currency. So has a lot of advantages over Bitcoin, and it costs a hell of a lot less to transfer and everything. So, and now, so this is where I'm doing my trades and I'm investing now. I don't care anymore if I make money in a single day. That's not what I'm trying to do. Now, what I'm trying to do is I would like to cash out within, here's my goal, is to make 30% in 3 months on a coin. And so if I can do that, if I can, buy now and within the next 3 months, I think it's going to go up 30%. I will set my sell price at 30% higher. And I'm not setting stop losses on these, because I'm investigating each coin and I'm deciding whether or not it's a good investment. And I'm not looking at it as I'm going to dump out if it dips down, because plenty of them have dipped down. So, but then they come back up. So it's a really, really interesting market, and I'm really glad that I've done this. So, okay. Now, I see a couple questions about BitConnect and everything. Yes, there's a lot of rumors that BitConnect is a scam, which is another service. This is Bittrex here, which is different. It's based in the United States. And and no, for those people who arrived late, I did not start with $100 and end up at $1,100 now. This is my other investing here. So I ended up at $91. So I lost money. Now, the other thing that I recommended at the very beginning was, okay, so instead of doing a bunch of trades with that money, with that $100, what would happen if we just held on to it? And so if we had put it all in Bitcoin, it was at almost 6,000 on Bitcoin whenever we started this challenge, and as of yesterday when I tallied everything, it was at 77.80 for a change of 23%. And if you had bought a whole coin, that's a $1,790 profit. On $100, it's a lot less, but would have gone up $100 would have been 123 or whatever. And that's very, very respectable. That's very, very respectable. So if you had done Ethereum, it was 307 and it went up to 345. And if you'd done Litecoin, it was at 61 and it went up to 69. So all three of these you would have made profit on. You'd made the most on Bitcoin. But if this challenge had ended 5 days ago, let me show you a longer look here by days. If we had ended on this day here and been tallying at 5,600 for Bitcoin, we would have lost money if we were forced to cash out. But by waiting, we just wait for it to come back up again. And you can see here the overall trend here is that it may have some dips along the way, but it just keeps going up. So now I'm not a financial advisor. Don't take anything I say as yeah. So Deathweight says, you didn't lose $9, sir. It was the cost of education in this particular venture. And for a $9 education, that education rocked. Yes. Yes, sirree. So, and that is the way I look at it. As an entrepreneur, when I have a failed venture, it was just an expensive education. It wasn't a failure. It was learning. I was paying to learn. So, and then Gritch says, if you'd put that as comparison, if you put that in Vanguard index account, 90% stock, 10% bond, you'd be down about 1% over the last month. Interesting. All right. So, okay. Here is my, and I want to stress again, I'm not a financial advisor. We were doing this as a, a fun competition and just a challenge to see if we could do this. And Lisa definitely beat me in this. In fact, she started telling me about a week ago. When I'm talking about different stuff, she's like, I'm listening, but I'm not doing what you're saying because I'm making more money than you. I got to give her credit. She's done well. So, okay. My thoughts for the future of Bitcoin. I still think Bitcoin will hit, I kid you not, 10,000 by the end of the year. So I think it's a real safe bet to have your money in Bitcoin. Now, again, I'm not a financial advisor. If Bitcoin all of a sudden goes poof, then don't blame me. But I really think it'll hit 10,000 before the end of the year. I think that Ethereum and Litecoin also probably will go up. And I actually think most of the altcoins will have a raise in value as well. But I think that Bitcoin, being the poster child for cryptocurrency, is going to see the most benefit from that. In trading, buying and selling and trying to work your way up, I think that investing is the better way to go than unless you are going to sit down and you're going to do day trading and you are going to commit like at least 8 hours a day, 5 days a week to trading like this. And you have to not be afraid of taking a loss. So there's a bunch of people, which I've seen in these groups that I mentioned. There was one guy that every time he had to dump out on something because it wasn't going the right way, he freaked out. I mean, he was just having major meltdowns. And so, you gotta be able to handle that. And that's one thing that I decided. I decided that, this FOMO, fear of missing out, and FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt, that you really have to take your emotions out of this and you have to say, okay, this is what the information says. This is how I believe the market is going to react, and act on that logically rather than emotions. Some of the worst trades that I did were stuff was skyrocketing up and people are like, oh my God, I'm making so much money in this. Oh, it's amazing. Do you think it's going to go further? Oh yeah, it's going to rocket further. I buy in and the damn stuff drops. So that is a very real thing that happens. And so, you got to be careful of that. Don't react to that. It's just like, and I mentioned this before, when I go to buy a new car, I don't walk in there. I walk in there knowing that I am not going to put any money down until the next day. Because the salesmen in there are really skilled at getting you all hyped about this new car. And they give you urgency. There's like only one of these with the leather seats and all the extra options in the lot. And so if you don't buy this one today, I don't know if it'll be here tomorrow. What they don't tell you is that they have all their inventory, 10 times as much inventory, sitting at another lot a mile away that's just waiting to be driven over when that one sells. And so you need to just keep your cool. And don't work with any salesman when you tell them, I tell them right at the beginning that I am not going to buy today. And I say, will you be here tomorrow? And if they say no, I say, you may want to introduce me to a salesperson that'll be here tomorrow, because tomorrow is when I'm going to buy. Today, I'm getting all the information. I'm going to sleep on it overnight, and then tomorrow's when I'm going to buy. And if I decide to come back and buy, you'll want to be here because you'll want the commission. That's kind of the way I run it. And a lot of salespeople really, really hate that. So that's okay. And so this is how I'm taking on the coins. And so if I hear that something looks really good, I'm opening my ears and I'm listening for when people say these long-term goals that they have. And Bitcoin's long-term goal, I don't even know what it is, but it seems to be that long-term it's working out. So I 100%, for myself, I'd have no trouble putting all of my coins back into Bitcoin and just letting them ride. So it'll have some ups and downs, but I'm just going to let it ride. Now, the reason that I'm interested in other coins, there's several reasons. One of the reasons is that we are getting ready to enable Bitcoin in our store that we have. I sell video games, if you don't know, and we have an online store, and we're about ready to start accepting Bitcoin. I'm just waiting for our programmer to turn it on in our store. And so, but we've tested it and everything, and it looks really good. There's a severe problem with Bitcoin and transactions that are smaller. And that is that the network fees can eat you alive. So when I made a purchase of a couple of drinks with Bitcoin at a local co-working location, and they had never taken Bitcoin before, and I was surprised when it cost me an extra $2.50 as a network fee. And that network fee was what you are paying the miners to process your transaction. So $2.50, okay, so if you're buying something for a couple $100, it's not really that big of a deal. If you're buying a couple of drinks that are $7, it all of a sudden becomes a really big deal. And so that really big deal is that during this mania that happened when we were supposed to be splitting off into the SegWit X2 or 2X, and that didn't happen when they canceled it and everything, that there was just this mania that started with Bitcoin and everybody going into Bitcoin Cash and everything. And the network fees went up in the $15 range to get a transaction processed. I paid 13 something, I think it was, if I remember correctly. I know it was definitely over 10 and it was under 20. And it still took 7 hours for my Bitcoin transfer to process, even with paying that much. And if someone's going to come in and buy, from our store, one, they don't want to wait 7 hours to get their product. And two, they don't want to buy a $40 or $50 product and have to pay 10 or 15 bucks as a network fee. That's insane. I don't think that's okay at all. But that's just the way Bitcoin is going with its value being so high. So we need other altcoins for doing transactions so that we can take cryptocurrency in the store and not have to worry about this really lengthy time and these really high fees. Optimally, I would love it if a fee was 50 cents or so and it took less than 5 minutes for the whole transaction to take place. Now that's very optimistic, but in reality, I think that it's very possible to do 30 minutes and under $1. And so at 50 bucks, if you're paying $1 network fee, it all of a sudden becomes really good. And in fact, maybe at that point, we just do it on our end on the store end that we say, okay, the network fee is going to be about $1. We're giving you $1 discount so that we're covering that fee. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen yet, but that's just kind of me thinking aloud. And so anyway, can you just show us how to trade so we can be successful? Hot! Exclamation point YouTube in Twitch chat. That will get you to my main YouTube channel, the Marky Dragon channel, and look at the 30-day cryptocurrency challenge. So we've gone over a lot of that. So we have about 20 videos up on this. So Ethereum does not have the same time and cost, and Litecoin does not have the same time and cost. Litecoin is actually, I would consider to be a very good vehicle for transferring money. And and then there are 2 coins out there right now that are marketed to the video game industry. So I'm going to be looking at those as well. So anyway, now someone asked what my wife Lisa did differently than what I did and everything. And so she wasn't trying to produce a show, she was trying to produce income. And so a lot of what I feel like that my problem was is that I was trying to keep action going and doing that, whereas she just waited. Sometimes she sat on cash for 3 or 4 days, waiting for the right point to buy. She just made a lot of really good decisions. She's been really wise about it. Me, I was trying to get more action. So now I'm not worrying about that. I'm not trying to impress anybody with awesome trades or whatnot in a short time period. It's just not going to happen. And that way I'm going to make money, and because that's what I'm trying to do. So, all right. Anyway, yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything. So in the future, like near future, like within the next couple of weeks, expect that you'll see on my main YouTube channel, the Marky Dragon YouTube channel, you're going to see some cryptocurrency stuff about mining. I'm going to show you how to use your video cards to mine currency. I am doing that successfully right now. I think with my strategy and 2 machines, I'm making about $7 a day. $7 a day may not sound very exciting. Okay, so, you know, what if I said $7 a day every day for 30 days? Then all of a sudden you're looking at what, 210 bucks for a month? Oh, maybe it's a lot more interesting then. So I will show you first Zcash mining, and then I also will show you VRM and CPU mining with VRM, and then we will try out some other coins. Maybe we'll put a week into them or whatnot, and see how they do. We're going to measure power. We're going to measure, cooling costs. God, I can't shut my office door in here, because if I do, then there's not enough AC coming in whenever I'm mining, and it literally gets up to 86 degrees in my office. And then my machines start slowing down to compensate because they're getting too warm. And and we'll go over hash rates and everything. I don't know them off the top of my head. We'll go over hash rates of individual cards. I will try some old video cards to see how well they fare. And then also some brand new video cards to see how they fare. I have a Titan XP here, and is it worth the money? Actually, I think there's better value cards to buy for mining, but yeah, and we'll try overclocking cards and all of that stuff. So, okay, that is pretty much it for the cryptocurrency challenge. Out of Lisa and I, Lisa won. She did a very good job. I'm very proud of her. And so she ended up at, she ended up at she made 13% over the 30 days. We had some other people that said that they were in the 30% range. And on the video on YouTube, please do tell me what you ended up at on here. And just because we started this challenge 30 days ago, if you're still in the middle of it or whatnot, you can still run all this. I'm not going to remove this spreadsheet. I'll leave it here for everybody, so even a year later you can try it. You just have to change the dates or just go by day numbers. And so you can try it out for yourself and see how well you can do. I encourage that. I especially encourage it with a low dollar amount. And is $100 enough? Well, if you don't have very much money, do it with $100. If you can afford to lose $1,000, then do it with 1,000, or somewhere in between. Where can you get the spreadsheet? !crypto GM Battletech, and you'll get a link to the playlist for this, and it is in every one of the YouTube videos. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for this challenge. I had fun doing it. I had fun doing it with all of you guys. And I really I look forward to the next challenges. And we're going to do more mining stuff now. And I will continue to talk about trading as well. So thank you, everybody. Take care. And peace out. Okay, I have no exit for this, so I'm just going to hit the stop button.